A very good morning to all of you. We are really happy to start our second phase of Town Talks to connect and enhance your knowledge to become responsible citizens. I am Yasasmi Gamage, the moderator for this webinar. Today, I'm really happy and it is a great privilege for me to introduce three Sri Lankans who took our name to the world. They have won a global award which is established in memory of Diana, Princess of Wales. This award is a special award which is recognized for all the individuals who are aged 9 to 25 years can receive for their social action and humanitarian work in their local communities. The mission of this award is to develop and inspire positive change in the future of young people. Let me warmly welcome the Diana Award recipients, Sanit Pereira, Yasara Ramanayaka, and Ms. Anujita Sivaskaran to Town Talks today. To start off with our discussion, first let's discuss about this award that you all received. To start off with, I'm going to go to Ms. Anujita. Ms. Anujita Sivaskaran is a youth and peace activist working with grassroots civil societies for more than 4 years. She's an undergrad. She graduated in peace and conflict resolution from University of California, and she's currently working as a National Peace Council of Sri Lanka and volunteering at Interfaith Colombo. Apart from that, she's also serving as a member of Global Refugee Education Council and an ambassador for youth opportunities at the international level. So, very good morning to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Yasasmi, for that wonderful introduction. First, I would like to thank Town Talk for recognizing us and giving us this opportunity to take part in a live program, which is really so impressive. So come to your question, Yasasmi. So I'm from Jaffna, Sri Lanka, but actually I was born and brought up in Malawi, Mullaitivu district, which is a very small but again beautiful village where I had a really good childhood, beautiful memories as well. So, as you all know, since I was born and brought up in Mullaitivu district, I have gone through this last phase of Sri Lankan civil war. So, I experienced all these war and all these welfare camp difficulties and challenges. But at that time, I really don't have any idea of how I can, as an individual, contribute to this peace building, especially as a victim of war. But when I got selected for this program called Peace and Conflict Resolution at University of California, I got many opportunities to engage with multiple stakeholders and organizations. That brought me a lot of opportunity as well. So, especially my academic program as well as my internships at Secretariat for Coordinating Reconciliation Mechanism, SCRM, and also with IOM, International Organization for Migration, given me the opportunity to explore how, as an individual, I can contribute to the peace building, why it is important also. So after that, I started to engage with multiple organizations as a volunteer, because I also did my degree at that time. So I started to volunteer at Interfaith Colombo, where I got opportunity to engage with young people from different religions and faiths, where we organize different dialogues on related to social topics, and we explore about the reality as well. So apart from that, I also engage with multiple forums like CPBR and several other organizations organization, and also some other organization invited me to talk about different topics like youth empowerment, peace building, reconciliation. Especially, I got the invite from United Nations for their 75th anniversary to moderate a dialogue as well as to take part in the final event, as well to mark the voice of young people in Sri Lanka. This is the kind of brief which helped me to win this award. But in this moment, I really wanted to use this to thank Ushanti Kaudaman from IOM and also Abhirami Lokachandran from University of Kalania, who are the key people for why for receiving this award. So I'm really thankful for them. Thank you.
All right, that's amazing. And once again, congratulations on that. Moving
Thank
on to
you.
our next Mr. Jani Pereira. He's an emerging youth peace advocate, activist, educator, and a researcher, graduated from Department of International Relations from University of Colombo in Conflict Resolution and Peace. He is the director of capacity building at Citizens Youth Led Organization and an advocacy team lead and communications lead at Youth Peace Panel of Sri Lanka and a member of the Asian Youth Advocacy Team on Youth, Peace and Security. So, very good morning to you, and let's also discuss what were your contributions for this award.
A very good morning, and thank you for the honor of hosting us today. Special thanks to Town Talks and all the people behind this talk show. So, speaking about what I have been doing, I remember I came into the field of volunteering, social work, peace building in 2013. I have had the rare opportunity of volunteering for CHOGM 2013 and World Conference of Youth 2014. After these experiences, I had the kind of motivation to work for young people and to engage in peace building. I have to especially say an experience that took place in, I think, around 2016. I had the opportunity to work with several asylum seekers or refugees and to provide certain psychosocial support, goal setting lectures and training programs, leadership training programs for these refugees. And also I had the opportunity to work with war victims and victims of violence in Sri Lanka. So all these experiences made me wonder why we do not have peace in Sri Lanka, why we do not have peace in the neighboring countries, and what can I do as an individual, as people connected to different organizations, what can we do to consolidate peace and reconciliation in Sri Lanka and also assist in developing peace and reconciliation in the neighboring countries and in the world. So I thought of working myself on an agenda, especially I believe in 2015, the United Nations Security Council passed the resolution 2250, that is on youth, peace and security. And that was to call upon and to recognize the involvement of young people in peace building. And I thought that is a resolution that I have to implement, I have to work. So I kind of started my work in peace advocacy, peace activism, peace education, and peace research. So I thought I should take a multifaceted approach, or rather several approaches that intersect with one another. And therefore, I started working with several organizations as an individual. So at Citizens, we have kind of organized several online youth-led conferences. We have had participation of more than 200 to 500, and we have also had different webinars, different dialogues where we spoke about, where we got international speakers from all around the world to speak about peace and harmony, youth empowerment, social entrepreneurship, innovation. And I think through that, we were able to pass a valuable message to the society, both Sri Lankan and the international. and also at the Youth Peace Panel of Sri Lanka. Now, the Youth Peace Panel of Sri Lanka was hosted by UNFPA Sri Lanka and Chrysalis, and it was a collection or a consortium of 30 young peace builders after a very rigorous process of selections by the UN. So I was selected to this advocacy team, and we were working on bringing forth a peace education curriculum into Sri Lanka to make sure that social media is a place where we can tackle the hate speech and false information. And especially I led a group of people asking, or rather advocating, for a youth quota where young people can get representation in the political system of Sri Lanka. Now, these are very contemporary things that we have to work in, because if we want peace and reconciliation, we need to empower young people. We need to showcase to them what are the avenues. Now, I believe that when it comes to young people's involvement in peace building, it can be in several approaches. And that is why I started to work for peace building in different approaches. Another important thing I would like to say is I also published a poetry collection that was commissioned by the United States, the Peace Studio. And that was a certain poetry collection called Haiku Collection, that is simple poetry that creates awareness on peace. And through that, I was able to spread a message to the international community. And also I have written several poetries into international anthologies about discrimination due to color, discrimination due to becoming a widow. So I have been trying to make certain changes as a very young person, individually as well as collectively. And also I have represented Sri Lanka in several international conferences. For example, the South Asian Youth Summit 2018, that was in Sri Lanka. I was also an official delegate to the South Asian Youth Conference 2019, that was held virtually from India. So I have been part of several youth dialogues programs, and I have been commended for it at numerous times. But what I actually want to say as a Diana Award recipient is, you can contribute to the society to build peace in multiple approaches. And I have been trying to do that in my individual capacity, connecting other young people. And therefore, I'm very happy to say I was awarded with the 2021 Diana Award. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And once again, congratulations for your award. That really made me think, like, what am I doing for peace? Being a young youth. Okay, with that, we are going to move on to Miss Yasara. So, Miss Yasara Ramanayaka is a youth advocate for sustainable development goals and human rights education in Sri Lanka. She is a graduate from University of Kelaniya, specialized in international studies, and holds a Bachelor of Law from University of Wolverhampton. Currently, she serves as the national coordinator of the Road to Rights youth-led organization, and she co-curated the G17 University Ambassadors Consortium, which is an undergraduate platform to advocate on sustainable development goals. A very good morning to you, and let's also discuss about your efforts that led you to receive this award.
Thank you so much, Yasasmi, and thank you so much, Town Talk, for having us here. So, talking about my contribution for the award, basically, my aspiration came from a young end, as in, I started as a small person where, through a small club named Cousins Club, where I got together with my cousins and my basically my family, siblings, and we did very few very advocacy and like social impact work, and that actually gave me the aspiration to do social work. So from then onwards, in 2015, as a school leaver, I embarked on a journey that actually changed my life, because it identified and created the purpose of my life, basically. So after leaving school, I engaged with social work, and starting from UNAIDS to a lot of organizations I've been volunteering, but notably I got into the Rotary Rights organization, and starting from simple volunteer, today I've become the national coordinator. So it has been a very tremendous, a very nice journey for me. So I have got the opportunity to specifically talk about sustainable development goals and highlight the importance of human rights education in Sri Lanka in the aspect of promoting human rights as a responsibility. So as part of this 6 years journey during Road to Rights, I have been working on many projects in ideating and doing conferences and doing a lot of platforms and creating a lot of platforms for young people. So starting from my first international conference in 2016, starting from there, I did another program which is called Tourism for All to accelerate the accessibility of differently able individuals in tourism sector specifically. And also I've been engaged with the Peace Expo, which is actually to enhance the peace and diversity of our culture. So likewise, I have been involved in ideating many projects. And notably in 2017, I got the opportunity to go to United Nations and represent Sri Lanka and speak of on behalf of our young people, specifically highlighting the human rights education aspect as responsibilities. So likewise, I have been involved with many community-related projects, and throughout the journey in Road to Rights, I'm very much humble because my mentor, Mr. Ashan Pereira, and also Mr. Bruce Ferguson have been supporting me throughout this journey. So I'm very much privileged, and all of these activities that I've been doing, from awareness to education to engagement to action, everything have made an impact with specifically regards to the G17 consortium and also the national campaign that I'm leading now, Action to Impact. So I'm very much grateful, and this award actually gave us a lot of opportunities to even to work forward as well. So I'm looking very much forward. Thank you.
All right, yes, hats off for your great efforts, which the three of you all have achieved to your pinnacle. So we will be moving on our discussion. I'd like to start off with Mr. Janit. So you came up with this term called peace building in your introduction. So I'd like to know, what is peace building, and how is it really important for a society to get to know about peace building? What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you for that very important question. Now, I think we all understand that we are coming from different backgrounds. So we have different experiences, we have different exposures. And I think it's a very simple truth that no two people think alike. So, there are conflicts naturally. So, peace building is trying to understand about different people, understand about what their circumstances are, and to make sure that there is peace among individuals. Now, that is a very simple answer, but if you look at it in a more complicated or comprehensive manner, we can see in the society that we are living, we have injustice, we have violence. I think that is because there are certain, structural, cultural problems that we are facing. So peace building is actually trying to help people overcome the cultural and the structural problems that they face. Sri Lanka has certain elements of multiculturalism. So I think there are lots of issues that are based on religion, ethnicity, and therefore I think cultural diversity has created certain problems. But actually, I think Sri Lanka is blessed with cultural diversity, because if everything is black and white, there is no color in it. But now we have color, so we have to use that beauty and make our country a better place and a safe place. So peace building comes here to unite the different communities, to make sure that there is intercultural, interreligious harmony and understanding. And also Sri Lanka has certain, structural violence or injustices. For example, we have poverty, we have underdevelopment, we have problems in pay, and we have many other problems such as youth unrest. So if we try to make these issues solved, if we try to invest in making these issues solved, that is once again peace building. So if I give you a very simple definition to end my idea about peace building, it is making people happy at the end of the day. The governments, the humanitarian agencies, the individuals, they are trying to do certain things, sometimes very small things which are short term, but sometimes very complicated and very long processes. Actually, peace building doesn't happen overnight, it takes a bit of time. But what we try to do is we try to lift the living standards of people, making people happy so that they can easily or somewhat strategically achieve self actualization and lead a happy life where the problems don't matter in their journey of development and satisfactory living. Thank you.
All right, yes, exactly as you told, we all would love to live in a happy and a peaceful society. So, with that, I'm going to go to Miss Anuchita now. So, Miss Anuchita, I'd like to know because you said you are from coming from a different religion. So you might have experienced more on this, facing different injustices or a different experience. Now, I'd like to know what is your real experience about the society? What are the different inequalities that you see in the society, and how this will lead to conflictual situations, and what it is like to call about the interreligious peace building and the concept of that. What is your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Yasasmi, for raising that question because that is a very important question. Also, the need of the country as well. Because if you take, as Janet mentioned, also, Sri Lanka is a country where people following different religions, practicing different cultures, and we are like yeah, different it's like a garden where you can see different colors of flowers as well. But again, though it is a beautiful, but sometimes it causes different problems and conflicts. If you take the Sri Lankan history so far, we have faced a lot of conflicts related to religion, ethnicity, and so on. After I started to volunteer with Interfaith Colombo, I got opportunity to engage with young people from different religions and faiths. Even during the pandemic time, we got an opportunity to organize a project with UNOY, which is also funded by Hyla Foundation. There we organized different dialogues like on religion and gender, religion and media. So in order to understand the perspectives of young people and give them a safe space where they can share their thoughts with each other.
All right, so until she gets back, we will move on ahead. Yes, she's there. Okay, yes, you can continue.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got the So, shall I continue? Sorry,
Yes,
I got
yes.
the problem with network.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I joined Interfaith Colombo, I really got this opportunity, and we also did the project during the pandemic time. There, we could able to observe like some people were saying like. For the first time, I'm talking with a Hindu friend. I'm talking with a Muslim friend, and I got to know the. Normally, I know these people do these things, but I really don't know the reasons behind that. So today, I could able to explore those reasons. So so for me it gave me a moment to reflect. In Sri Lanka, as a victim of war, I have gone through a war, and I have faced different challenges because of these ethnic problems and religious problems. But there are people still don't know about each other, but we are having conflicts. I'm like, oh, why it is happening? Then I got the I started to reflect on those things. Then I thought it is my role to to convey the message of both parties with each other. As a person who is traveling from north to south, I also have this unique opportunity to interact with multiple communities. That's why I feel in Sri Lanka it is very important to build understanding and give spaces for people to interact with each other, because as a multicultural spaces, in order to build the peace in the country. Apart from that, if you ask me what is interreligious peace building, it's simple. It's a process, it's a long process. You have to keep engaged in dialogues and actions with people from different religions and faith, for the purpose of building peace in the country. So you can't say like you can do this kind of project today and stop it. No, this has to be come from the society. People should take initiative to share their cultural practices with each other. They start to even share the stories in their families. They have to tell the positive thoughts to their children as well. Then only we can build a strong peace or the sustainable future in this country. I think it should be a collective, it is a collective effort, as well as it is a long term continued process. That is simply, if you can say, about interreligious peace building.
All right, yes, exactly. Despite of our ethnicities, despite of our different races, language, we will all have to think that we are all belonging to this one human mankind. So with that, we're going to move on to Miss Yasara. Now, you took a different approach, like because you're thinking about the sustainability angle. Now, what led you to think differently about this sustainability and peace building? How does this connect with each other? Let's talk about that.
Yes. Starting off, I would like to tell I did have the aspiration for peace because I'm also coming from a multicultural background, whereas so I have exposed myself to different festivals, religious aspirations, and it gave me the understanding and the beauty, the power of diversity. So starting from there, that gives me the impetus to take my journey forward. And then when I got engaged with the Rotary Rights Organization, I was exposed to these sustainable development goals, which was initially launched in 2015. So that gave me a more understanding about what we can do to our society in order to create a better community. And apart from that, the human rights education is also important because those are the two key pillars that I'm advocating for. And ultimately, in order to even achieve a peaceful community, these human rights education play an important role. because each of us need to respect our own rights, and also basically we need to be respecting other individuals' rights as well. So everything starts, what I believe is everything starts with human right education as well, in order to build a very peaceful community. So we mainly I advocate in terms of human rights education as responsibilities that we have on each and every one of us. So that is very important. So I would like to highlight on that human rights education is important, and everyone needs to advocate it on as responsibilities. On the other hand, in terms of highlighting the connection of peace and sustainable development goals, there is no peace if there is, I mean, we cannot achieve sustainable development goals without the aspect of peace, because in order to achieve zero hunger to gender equality to anything, there should be a peaceful community. Then only then only we try to work together to collectively work on things to achieve and find solutions basically for problems. So that is the basic the highlight of the connection, what I see. And then on the other hand, also I would like to mention, under the sustainable development goals, there are 5 P's, as in peace, prosperity, people, planet, and partnership. So ultimately, United Nations also wants to achieve a peaceful community and a sustainable community. So it is very important that we connect the peaceful aspect as well as the sustainability. And in order to achieve a sustainable community, peaceful is a must. A peaceful community is very much needed. That's my thoughts on that.
All right, yes, indeed. We all will have to once finally think about the sustainability of a country. And as you said, yes, indeed, peace will reach us there. So, with that, now I'd like to move on to Mr. Janit once again. Because in your introduction, I remember you said that there are multiple approaches that as an individual we can take to build up peace. So, as a peace activist, as you, what were the different approaches that you took to become who you are today?
Thank you so much. So I think like everybody can definitely take part in activities that can build peace. I think I have to stress upon the power of volunteering. The power of volunteering is really, really amazing, because you can make a lot of changes when you volunteer your time and efforts. So I remember when I was very young, I used to volunteer for a lot of social activities, for a lot of children's and youth activities. So I think we can start with volunteering. We might find amazing projects, initiatives. We can volunteer even in very simple means. I remember I was volunteering a lot of events as an announcer. I was volunteering a lot of events as a content writer, agenda creator. So, these were the things that actually made me start with the peace building agenda. Going to certain events, helping in their events, even, making the event halls and all these things. These are things that we can start with. And I think I started with those things. And little by little, I gathered the relevant experience and the requirements to take the lead. And then I started leading certain projects. So I think as children, as young people, we all can start, working towards peace building, doing very little things. But you never know where you will end up. You might end up in the United Nations. You might end up in being the president of this country and making a real change. So I think young people can start simple things, and they can start with volunteering. And speaking about myself, over the last few years, I have been engaged in peace education. That is, educating young people about peace. Especially during the pandemic situation, I was able to build up partnerships with international organizations. For example, the World Institute for Peace in Nigeria and the Global Institute for Justice, Peace and Liberty in Liberia, and the Virtual University for International Relations in Benin. And I was able to, mentor and support peace education online, where there were participants from around the world. And then I was also able to engage in peace research. Especially, I was selected by the EU funded South Asian Research Project, amplifying the leadership of local youth alive in PVE and peace building. Now, PVE means preventing violent extremism. So, as a researcher, I was the male researcher from Sri Lanka. There were two researchers from Sri Lanka for the South Asian project funded by the EU, and we were looking at what are the operational and policy level recommendations we can make to prevent violent extremism and consolidate peace in Sri Lanka as well as in the South Asian region. So my initiatives have been, from education to, research and also advocacy, working with several organizations, for example, the Youth Peace Panel of Sri Lanka and the Asia team of youth advocacy for YPS agenda or the youth peace and security agenda. So that has been advocacy and activism, carrying out different activities with young people, working with the refugees, working with the violent, like the victims of violent extremism and war. So I have been able to, work with these people and do peace building activities, changing their attitudes, changing their behavior, as well as trying to make a change in the contradiction or the underlying factors that actually create conflict, tension, and war in the country. And also, as I told you earlier, there can be creative approaches, for example, using poetry, using drama such as forum theater. So there are multiple approaches, and young people can, I think, definitely take part in at least one of these things. They can spend a little bit of time. I would say that is a very great investment, not just for yourself, but also to the society. So I think that is what I believe as multiple approaches to peace building.
Yes, exactly. As you said, I'm sure creativity can bring us all together. So even the little ones can start off by just drawing a picture, maybe that symbolizes peace and harmony. So with that, we are going to move on to Ms. Anuchita again. So what I feel as a young youth, like when you are contributing to peace or to whatever the measure or the project or volunteering to anything that you do, there are many obstacles that we face. Now, if you take those obstacles as challenges, now what are the challenges that you all face while your journey of peace as a peace activist?
So that's a good question, but again, complicated one as well, because because starting from my personal experiences, like I'm a Tamil girl, a Tamil Hindu girl, so family and the relatives also practices all these cultural elements, and they are also like a normal Sri Lankan. So like when you are selecting your career or the goal in the peace building field, like the society normally expect you to be after your graduation, you to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer or a job from government sector. But when you tell your family that you are going to spend all your time in the peace building field, they'll be like surprised, right? So even after receiving this award, many people got to know that I'm in this field, I'm working on these issues. So many people came and asked me, like, do you get pension in this work? Like this, so many questions that I faced. I'm like, no, this is my passion, that is why I'm doing this, and I really wanted to do it. So apart from that, my mother also used to tell me that when you are doing anything you can do, you have the freedom to do it, but make sure when you do something, it is not affect the safety of yourself as well as your family or the people around you, because there is a certain security safety concerns when you are working in this field as well, especially from families. They always concern about it. Like if you go and tell a normal person in Sri Lanka like about peace, reconciliation, about social cohesion, if you ask any question, they will be little frightened. Why you asking me? Why you choose me to ask those questions? Like because this is how we experience. That's why we are like in this kind of mindset. So these are the first challenges that I have to overcome slowly when I'm working in this field. Second, if you take at a wider level, like as a young people, we are some majority of young people in this field who are working who are like serving as a peace volunteers, peace activists, are still studying. So they are lacking of many resources. They are experiencing poverty in resources like money, digital technologies, and several other resources. Because in order to commit yourself, in order to do a good work, you need lot of things to do. Like you need a lot of support from many people, but it is not happen actually. And also as a country, we are also lacking in spaces for young people where they can involve in decision making, and where they can involve in major key roles in order to lead the change. But there is a lack of spaces in that. Like we get chances to raise awareness, we get chances to train people, but we don't get chances to take decision in when it's come to state policies or state oriented processes. So this is the second challenge. First one is the social stigmas, and the second is the lack of resources and roles, and the third could be we when we commit ourselves, Sri Lanka has a nature of changing environment. Like when you have newly elected government, they will come and change the whole system. It is severely affecting the peace building process, because when you need a sustainable future and sustainable peace, you need a solid structured plan, which also requires the collective effort of all the stakeholders, including the government. But when you are having a new government and they will come and change all system, it totally affects even the single citizen of the country. For an example, I did my internship at secretariat for coordinating reconciliation mechanism, but now that institution is not available, maybe because of a lot of political reasons and the systematic changes. So I think in order to build the peace, in order to build a sustainable future to Sri Lanka, we need a strong state oriented process, which has to have a solid plan, also which has to has involvement of different stakeholders, including young people. Then only we can think about proper process in this country. So these are the key challenges. There are other challenges where many young people like me face also, but these are the three major challenges which sometimes we feel that affects our work in certain ways.
All right, yes, indeed. And I feel like the recognition factor, maybe you all won't get much recognition, will also make you feel demotivated sometimes. But however, it is really a
Thank you, Yasasmi. That's a good point, because this is my first ever international recognition. After receiving this award, like I could able to observe there were many opportunities coming, and there were many people coming and telling, "Oh, you are doing a good work." That gives me more confidence and as well as the responsibility to improve my work. So yeah, we many young people who are working more at the ground level compared to me, they are doing a lot of good work, but they have to be recognized by this society. Then we can have a big change.
Exactly, yes. So that's why in Town Talks, we are here to discuss about the three of you and spread more awareness to all out there to build up a peaceful society. So with that, once again, I'm going to move on to Mr. Janit. Now, in our discussion, we discussed about the different approaches as well. Now, if I am an interested, enthusiastic individual who likes to join these type of voluntary work or to become a peace activist, Where should I start? What are the certain organizations and what are the different activities where I can join and participate and do a change? Let's discuss about that.
I think we can start with the local community. Like, I think as a social being, everybody should, have interactions with the society that is around us. So there are many children, there are many young people and adults whom we can get the support of. Now, Sri Lanka has a very strong network of youth clubs that are under the Federation of Youth Club Council in, Sri Lanka under the Youth Ministry. So there are such organizations. Then there are, within your Dhamma schools or Sunday schools, you have different, organizations. You can collectively do certain projects, right? So there are several such, at the grassroots level. As a young person, I'm telling, for a very young person, for a newbie or a newcomer, they can connect with such organizations. And also, when it comes to Sri Lanka, there is, much accusation, allegation that social media is used to promote, fake news, misinformation, disinformation, but there are many opportunities on social media. Today, all the non-governmental organizations, all the civil society organizations, they are very active on social media and they put their opportunities on social media. There are pages that, there are pages that actually promote these organizations, events, activities, projects. There are groups that are for different, sustainable projects. So I think when we use social media positively, we can make a social impact. We can make a positive impact to ourselves as well as to the society. So these opportunities can be made, especially by going into the grassroots, going into the community, finding the opportunities and, collecting people, collaborating with likely minded children and youth and starting small, actions. It can be a very small activity, but you are starting, and that start point is very important. And as I told you, on social media, there are lots of, opportunities available. And if you can meet with, people. Now, I got to know Yasara, I got to know Anojita through Facebook mainly. And then we, led good connections. And later on, we found ourselves in the same conferences, in the same events. So I think then with likely minded people, we can make a change. So I always encourage children and young people to start together in the schools also. I forgot that actually. I have to say that especially in schools, today we have a lot of clubs and associations. It can be the Leo Club, it can be the Interact Club, it can be the MUN Club, it can be, many other clubs and societies. And together with, your friends, you can start different projects. And then little by little, you can develop on your path and you can contribute to the society immensely. I always believe the small steps we take can, result in bigger steps and bigger projects that can make meaningful impact. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. As you said, I'm sure even social media is going to be a great start if we can spread positive thoughts and peaceful thoughts. So, with that, now I'm going to move on to Miss Yasara. Now, what are the best local approaches that you think is a best solution for the youngsters to create a peaceful world? What would they be?
Yes, thank you. So basically, what I think is, I mean, coincidentally, today is July 28th, it is Mandela's Day. So I'm going to look at Mandela's history and give some inspiration for young people listening here. So, so mainly at our organization, we have a program called Purposeful Play. So that is inspired by Mandela, where he used sport as a tool to implement peace in South Africa. So that's why South African nation is also known as a rainbow nation, where he had a very interesting approach where we never thought that sport could actually bring people together. Whereas in 1995 in the World Rugby Cup, whereas he united all the South Africa into one place, and they all advocate for a peaceful community. So that aspiration and that learning, we could apply the same into the modern context. And young people, we can actually do small things. For like example, we can create a small cricket group or volleyball group, where we can that in that group also we need to make sure that diversity is included. So in so likewise, there are like many ways that we could promote the aspect of peace. And also I would like to mention, like Janit was saying, our volunteering work, I think all of us, three of us, started at a very small age. And while doing our education, I was dealing with juggling with basically 2 degrees. And I was trying to scoop in volunteering also, because volunteering was my passion. So there's always time to volunteer. And I actually I'm also very much proud about myself, because I had to face a lot of challenges in order to fulfill my 2 degrees. But at the same time, I made sure that I have some time for volunteering. So I would like to give a small message to all the young people are listening. So make sure even during your undergraduate career, not just studies, but make sure that you also engage with volunteering aspect like this. Then only you can even enhance your skills and be exposed to different societies and community. And also you will get the opportunity to meet like-minded individuals coming from very diversified area. So that is also another start for us to even engage with different kind of communities to understand them. So that will eventually lead to unity and prosperity, where we can collectively work on positive change. So likewise, starting even looking at Mandela's story, there are a lot of things that we could do, but I do feel that sport has a very important role in terms of that, in order to achieve peace. Yes.
Yes, exactly. As you told, sports brings a balanced personality in every individual. So it is really important. If you are a sports personality, you think about the other person, respect the other's thoughts and everything. So that will lead you to become a peaceful human being. Now I'm going to move on to Miss Anujita. So what is your final message for all the youngsters and the young youth out there, to be for them to build up a peaceful world, a peaceful society?
So as a Dana award recipient, I also believe like Dana, like young people have the power to change, because normally in this society, like we see young people as the perpetrators or the media who is passing these extremist thoughts to the society, who are using these social media platforms to spread violence and negative thoughts, hate speech. So, but we can do better things. We can lead the change, because we have the capacity. We are the people who are like who can easily adapt to these technologies, digital technologies, as well as to the structural nature of this society. So I think if we give proper education and proper training of capacity, maybe it can be a training for skills or trainings to empower them. If we give proper trainings and education for the young people, they can be the great leaders, or they can be they don't need to be necessarily to be a leader. They can be a resource for tomorrow's future. So I think not just the young people and the society and the government and even the private sector, all should collectively engage to empower young people and capacitate them as a peace agents. Then we can build a sustainable future. At the same time, the effort of young people also have to be recognized, and the certain positions and the roles should be given to them to lead the change. Therefore, I'm inviting all the young people and the society of Sri Lanka to work together, because we are the people who have the responsibility to change our future. So let's work together and lead the change for tomorrow.
Exactly, as you said, if we get together, we can make a better future. With that, Mr. Janit, I'd like to know your thoughts about this as well. What do you think? What is the best solution for us at the moment?
I think Sri Lanka should invest in peace building and think about peace building and reconciliation, especially as a country with a diverse community. I think we need to build bridges of peace. That is very important. So I think we should develop mutual understanding, and mutual understanding comes with mutual respect and mutual, I would say, empathy. The word empathy is very important. We should learn how to empathize with people. We need to learn how to respect other people, because we are coming from different backgrounds. So my key message or take away from this webinar would be young people should learn how to empathize other people. Then we will realize that at the end of the day, we are human beings. We might have, our own cultural identities. We might have, gender identities, ethnic identities, religious identities. But at the end of the day, we are human beings, and we are belonging to this human race, and therefore we have to accept the diversity and respect and love one another. Then we can make this world a better place.
Yes, indeed. As you said, all we'll have to improve is to develop our empathy towards other people, and we will all have to think we all are human beings, despite our religion, despite our ethnicity, despite the different races that we belong to. After all, we are all human beings. So, with that, thank you very much for joining us today, sharing your valuable thoughts, your insights, because that really leads us to a peaceful world. And the audience out there will also have a better understanding how we can contribute to the society, how are we going to build up peace, and especially the attitudes that we have in Sri Lankan people are the biggest, I should say, the weakening point that creates all these conflictive natures that are rising in the society. So thank you very much once again for being here with us today, sharing peace and to for the whole society, spreading the message of peace. With that, we are going to officially sign out for today from Town Talks. Be responsible citizens. Let's all take the message, and let's be peaceful human beings without being engaging conflicts. We will all have to have that mindset, thinking that we all belong to one human mankind. With that, we are going to officially end up the session for today. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for listening us, and thank you, Mr. Janit, Ms. Anujita, and Ms. Yasara once again for being with us today. And be responsible citizens. Let's stay home and we'll stay safe.